Hey, this is a video on 114 plus random seed glitched. I've been wanting to do this video for a really long time. I just have been procrastinating and I just decided like now just get it over with, but um it's just gonna be like a mostly one take type of thing. I'm gonna go over a a regular random seed run, how to play it, what's the mentality, neat strategies and tricks into just kind of one compact video. It might be a little long, sorry about that. But there's not really a like one together piece of how to play random seed. There's kind of videos and messages sprinkled around in glitched cord and maybe like DMs or something of how to play this category, but there's not really a concise, compact video with it all. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go over a regular run. I'm gonna use the world record seed, and let's just get started. I guess I'm just gonna go through the entire run, mentality, tricks. I think I already said that, but basically, for resetting a 116 random seed run, we use 116.1. You literally use your glitchless instance for it too. It doesn't really matter. Um, but how to reset is usually just the best seed is a rune portal spawn. So like on your wall, if you see a rune portal, um, that would be your sign to play glitched. It really depends on what's inside the rune portal. So let's look in the world record seed. What's in the chest? We have obsidian, we have a flint and steel, gold nuggets, and golden tools. And also fire charge, I guess. These are interchangeable. But basically, what you want at the bare minimum of a rune portal is obsidian and a light, some way to light the portal. Anything extra is very nice. It's very convenient. So with this, theoretically, I could just run over to like a wood source and I could play glitched. Um, the thing is that you can also kind of like for like mapless, if you're doing mapless and you pick up a rune portal, you can also still play that, and that's honestly, in my opinion, a kind of better situation than in this kind of field. You have to run over to trees or any type of wood, and there's no sand nearby. Sand is really important for glass for dragon skip. um, so if you're running alongside a coast, like I think there's a desert over here. For example, if there's a rune portal over here, you could just grab the sand on the way, get the rune portal, and then go over to wood. And then you would basically be done with gathering your resources, and then you would want to be duping for Nether. I think with that aside, getting food is not really necessary because you can relog to get invincibility. And gold tools are pretty nice because for a golden axe, this is a shot in the side, by the way, like what the fuck. But anyways, it's just getting wood quicker, and ideally you get gold or iron ingots. Those are like the two things that you want the most besides obsidian and a light, pretty much. So with that aside, I'm gonna briefly talk about villages. I think if you're starting out, villages are a pretty good way to get into glitched. I think they're very consistent, usually around like 2 minutes, sub 2 minute enters, maybe faster. Honestly, I haven't played them in a long time, but basically it's just probably just reset for like a blacksmith on wall or something, or maybe if you want to tap into villages to check blacksmiths, you basically just want the same thing. You want blacksmith. I mean, for blacksmith, you would want obsidian and iron. Anything extra is nice. You would want to get a bed, wood, and ideally there's like a river nearby so you can smelt the sand while overlapping duping and also getting gravel. Um, and but for this, I'm just gonna mostly talk about rune portals. So now that you have everything, let's just get like a piece of wood. Um, let's kind of talk about duping now. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about regarding resetting. I think so. So let's just move on to duping. So we have all this stuff here, and um, there's two ways to dupe. You can dupe with a chest, or you can just do the drop dupe, which is the most common method. So I'm gonna do the drop method first. You want to open up Task Manager. It should be on your like taskbar on default, And there are like two main ways. You can either do CPU or memory. Clicking both of these will sort all the like processes in order based on how much memory they're using or how much CPU usage they're using. So if you are paused and you have it in your background, then Minecraft is not going to use that much CPU. So for memory, if you're using single instance, it's just pretty easy. But for CPU, there's a really easy way to kind of see. It's a really easy way to separate it, and that's just going to 32RD and loading the world around you. So if you do that, you can see the CPU usage of Minecraft goes up to 15%. And so that's pretty simple. And to talk about duping, it's basically so whenever the game kind of saves your inventory and the world separately sometimes. If you pause, you save everything, I think. If you open your inventory, you save your inventory. Um, so if I were to, let's see, I'm just gonna go over the process of duping actually. So to set up a dupe, you want to exit the world, save and quit just for safety. You don't want to menu.quit.world. And you want to go to your options, video settings, and turn on your render distance to 2. And the reason why we do this is because duping is, and honestly mini glitches are, very dependent on hardware. So we want to create the most amount of lag to basically ensure that the dupes will work. So now that you've done that, single player, go back into the world and try to pause right away. Once you've done that, you want to turn up your RD to 32, but you want to dupe as fast as possible here because the world is going to be loading pretty fast, and that's pretty much where most of the lag comes from. So 32, drop everything you want with inventory, and without closing it, go over to your task manager and hit end task while highlighting Minecraft. So and then once you do that, the multi-MC window should pop up, and then you can just click launch. And while Minecraft loads up, you can also select Minecraft with the amount of CPU usage it uses whenever it boots up. So I'm just going to talk about a separate way to do it with Task Manager. If you have Minecraft selected and you hit Tab 3 times, you can just click Task Manager and hit Spacebar. And it's basically kind of like tab crafting, I guess, in a way, where Spacebar would hit end task for you. So anyways, now that we've opened up Minecraft again, single player, new world, and just hold forward at once it's doing join world or joining world, like that screen, and you'll walk forward and pick up your items if you did correctly. So I'm just gonna repeat that again. So, video settings 2RD, you can do it after you pick up your items. Save and quit to title. It's still selected on the task. Go in, pause now, and go to 32RD, open inventory, drop everything, and end task with either clicking it or clicking the window and hitting spacebar with Minecraft selected. And now let's go over chest duping, which is pretty simple. It might be faster depending on hardware or something. So chest duping is pretty much the same process. So render distance 2, save quit. And if you didn't select it whenever it's loading up, whenever you leave the world or enter the world, you can also select it. So pause whenever you can and go to 32RD, open the chest and shift click anything you want to dupe inside of it and end task. I prefer the chest to be completely empty so that it's a lot easier. And once you do that, open it up again, open the chest, and you'll have everything. So what's happening here is saving the world and quitting obviously saves the world, but with ending the task process like this, it only saves the world and not your inventory. So if you just drop your items and you were to end task, the game would save the world, but it wouldn't save your inventory. And since your inventory had all your items before dropping them, however, when you're crashing it with Task Manager with this setup, you're only saving the world and not your inventory. So that's how duping works. And with that, I mean, you're just gonna keep duping, and if you want to grab it in the overworld or in the post blind, cobblestone, you're gonna want it for a furnace to smelt glass. So for example, in this village, I can just walk over, like make like a gold pickaxe and just mine cobblestone. It's not really necessary to dupe it up to 8 now, unless if you want to, unless if you have cobblestone really early, like at 2 or 1 or 3 obsidian, you can if you want to. But basically, you just kind of want to dupe up until you're at like a nice level of everything. So after this dupe, it's just gonna be 16 obby. And you can enter that if you want. You can enter the nether with this if you want to. And usually I am going to enter on that. So let me just get also cobblestone. You'll probably have duped it a few times now in sand. So let's enter. You can pause abusing glitch. So if you want to just crank out some stupid portal and like IGG, you can. Something like that. But while you enter the nether, make sure to set up your pie chart, because every time you dupe, it resets the pie chart, no matter what, if you have standard settings or what. So now we're gonna enter. You're probably gonna be on 32 RD. You just want to briefly on pause to check if there's a mob spawner, and you can just do some like pretty cheesy render distance manipulation. I got a ghast. Wow, that could have been useful. Anyways, once the mob spawner disappears, you want to go up to 3. And now you just want to check each chunk. You just want to pyrite. That's usually your first priority. You want to do the entering nether, because I mean you could also overlap it if you're trying to obtain pearls in any way, but it's kind of a little difficult. It's just usually the first thing you want to get out of the way. So fortress is somewhere. I got nothing, so I'm gonna up it up. It's diagonal. Diagonal spawners are it's the direction that you first entered the chunk, so it's gonna be this way. I entered this chunk first, and then this one second, so it's gonna be this way. And if you look over there, it's over there. And that's actually so lucky. That's actually so lucky. God damn. Anyways, so in the nether, there are 3 ways of killing endermen, and I'm in one of them right now. It's a soul sand valley. I mean, I guess it's really 2. You can either barter for pearls, or you can kill random endermen for pearls. So soul sand and warp forest and maybe wastes are your best friends in that regard. Waste just, I'm not sure if it's placebo, but they just seem to have enderman more. I mean, there's one over there. And we love Soul Sand Valley because it's also pretty likely to have ghasts, and ghasts are important. So I guess since I have a ghast here, we can go over ghasts and I guess save reversion. So save reversion it's like tasking of save states. You would save and quit the title to create a save state. That's kind of what it does anyway for duping. And using either with your task manager, going to details and then finding the process or the task, I guess, of Minecraft. If you're on multi-instance, it's hell. Have fun trying to figure that out. You can usually see it with the CPU though. Like the more you load in, the more your CPU is going to be used for it. So you can find it like that if you want. But the easier way is honestly just use the kill button with multi-MC. These 2 things do the exact same thing. And I think it's just easier to do this because you can move it around easily. It's a small window, and you can just click it. So anyways, how do we save revert? It's simple. We already created a save state. I'm going to do it again. And while doing something, so I'm just going to add this guy. I punched a fireball, and before it hits it, I'm going to create another save state. I mean, you don't really have to do the first one that I did, really only the save state before the action that you want to re-roll is important. So for Piglin bartering, right before the Piglin gives the trade, you want to create a save state, and before a ghast dies, you want to create a save state. So if you want to redo a mob drop or some type of RNG element, you want to create a save state before it happens. And so we're gonna load in, hit your chat key, and first you want to check if you got a ghast here. I got a ghast here, but if you didn't get your desired output, you want to open up your chat, not anything else. Opening inventory will save, will kind of create like a save state. Opening inventory might save the world, but I know opening inventory saves something, so don't open that. And pausing obviously creates a save state too, so also don't do that. So open up a chat and click yes, and then you want to repeat that process until you get what you want. So I got a ghast tier there, so in that case, I wouldn't reset in a real run, but if I didn't, I just redo it over and over again. Let's see, kills it again. Fire spawned here, that didn't happen last time, and you can see that I didn't get a ghast tier this time. So I would just repeat it over and over again. You do this exact same thing with Enderman. You can see it in my world record that I did the exact same process. But that's basically how you do it and how it works. So with blazes and really mobs in general, it's just the exact same thing. And now piglins. Piglins are fun. If you right click on a piglin with a gold ingot, then it will take 6 seconds for them to barter. So let's go find a piglin. And while it's bartering, you can really just kind of do whatever you want. If you want to like overlap like a quick craft or something, you have like 5 seconds of leeway, pretty much. And you kind of just want to create a decent amount of space between yourself and a piglin, like a few blocks, because it can get pretty laggy once you're rejoining the world and everything. So like there might be a point where you just might not see what item you get, so you might want to like empty out your hotbar or something to see it. Open chat. What do we get? We get glowstone. Click yes, and restart it. You can also open up the kill menu before the game starts, just for overlapping, I guess. Whoa. If you want, you can also highlight the Minecraft process again, and that was pretty slow. That was a pretty slow barter time. I'm just gonna pause and create a save state at a later point, and now it should be faster. It's faster, but it's not fast enough. The main advantage of piglin bartering, and I guess this strategy is called Revert bartering, is that piglins trade every 6 seconds, but with this you can basically trade every 1 second, or even faster, and that's like the main benefit of that. And I think I might have paused too late. Indeed, I have. So that's what happens if you're too greedy with the time. You just kind of want to slowly like get faster and faster until it gets to a point that you're happy. So I'm just gonna redo it again. That might be good. And you can see how laggy it gets whenever you're reopening the road. You can lower your render distance. That helps a little bit, not too much, but it does work. So that's still pretty slow. And you can see right there, you don't want to open the kill window, and the game is still running, because then IGT is still running and such. So that was still kind of slow. And once you get pearls, you want to dupe them. You want to dupe them comfortably up to like 2 stacks. In my opinion, I think 2 stacks is fine. You're probably gonna use half of them, honestly, going to the fort, because you kind of want to be optimal with your pearls. So you want to be pause abusing. You kind of want to be able to get the most distance with your pearls, like as efficiently as possible. You don't really want to throw far pearls because they're going to be kind of annoying. So just go to the fort pretty much. And also remember, before each portal lands, make sure to save and quit so that you don't take damage from them. So go up to the fort, save and quit. And now we're at the fort. You can, it's pretty nice to try to get your blaze rod from a stray. If it's just faster to go to a spawner and get blazes that way, then you can. So I give blazes over here, so let's just kill them. And like before, with the gas and the enderman, you're just gonna do the exact same thing. You're gonna save revert and try to get a blaze rod. Once you get a blaze rod, just build the portal. If there's mobs around you, try to build your portal a little bit higher and commonly save and quit so that you don't take too much damage. And we're just gonna blind. So once we've blinded, if you don't have sand, you want to look for sand. If you don't have cobblestone, you want to get cobblestone now. Like before you even dupe your rods, you want to get cobblestone so that you can efficient. I'm gonna replace the audio in this section because I kind of yap and I don't explain it well. There are a few items that you are kind of locked to dupe. So with pearls, you're kind of locked to dupe it at least like 8 times to comfortably traverse the nether. And for blaze rods, you need to dupe it 3 or 4 times to get the ender eyes. And so the more dupes you do before getting pearls is more dupes that you do overall, which is slower. They're like about like a second and a half IGT. So if you enter the nether on like 16 obsidian and 16 wood, compared to like a stack of obsidian and wood, that would be 2 extra dupes that you had to do that could have been overlapped with duping pearls. And the same principle goes for blaze rods. So with like cobblestone and resources that you've been getting low on throughout the run, that would be the time to dupe it. While the sand smelts, you just want to do your eye measuring stuff. You can pause abuse to your heart's desire with measuring eyes. So bow eye, good idea here because you can just pause abuse and it'll basically be like no time IGT. So once you're done with the measurement, you want to pick up the sand and you want to return. So glass and ender eyes. Really, glass is the last thing you ever need to dupe in your run. So let's just go back and we're gonna go back. We're just gonna go to Stronghold now. It's the same process as going to the fortress. Just chuck pearls as efficiently as you want to or can, and make sure to invincibility relog every time. Ooh, nailed it. So anyways, now we're in the Stronghold, and there's actually a couple of techniques to do Stronghold Nav. The first thing that's obvious is preemptive. You can do preemptive. It's not going to be reliable. Preemptive, unless if you have some god specs and it just magically lines up and you are just like a wizard at preemptive. You can do preemptive. That can also work. But there are going to be some cases where it just might not work consistently. That right there is a spike for me, but you know, it took a while for me to get there. Maybe I'm just slow at it. But you can also just chuck a pearl at the ceiling here and just F3C or F3 escape. Right here, I see the iron bars of the portal room. X-ray is pretty weird. Oh, I'm gonna die. X-ray is pretty weird. Because stuff can kind of just be cold behind walls. Like, there's kind of like a lot of walls behind this portal room. But that's the first method. This is the method I do. Check this way. Okay, I have a lot of information now. I see many paths. I don't see it. Let's just check right here. And I see it. That's a method that I recommend since you're gonna have so many pearls and you can just it's real easy to just invincibility relog, and then relog, and then just pause abuse, and then until it lands. Like, this is the perfect angle. This is what you want to see. But there's a couple of other ways. For example, if you have a boat, you can use a boat. You want to have a 1 block opening, and you want to, on the next block, kind of on the border between these previous 2 blocks, you want to put the boat there, enter it, hold shift, oops, you want to hold F3, shift, and then escape once you leave, and then you can just get another same X-ray. Thing about it is that it's kind of slow because you have to crawl out, you have to set it up in the first place. Okay, I'm gonna redo the composter X-ray section. So composter X-ray is done in the 5-way. You want to dig down 2, place down the composter, and fit into it. Use sand to crush yourself into it, and now you can see. You can see the indent of the portal room there, so that's how I'd figure it out. And it's a pretty good X-ray tool otherwise. The only issue of it is that it's just kind of slow because you have to dig down 2, get into the composter, and then once you're done with it, you have to mine it and get out of it. So that's, I think if you want to use X-ray, this is a pretty good consistent method. And then navving is same as you would in glitchless, but you want to use pearls to your advantage to travel as much as possible. That is the main time save that glitched has with navving against glitchless, is that we can just spam pearls. I mean, of course, if you're doing like hunger reset for 0, you would also spam pearls. But now, anyways, the first obvious thing for 0 cycle, for the end of 0 cycle. So let's just go in real quick. And with 0, you can just do it normally, really. There's no nuances. It's just 0 cycle. However, if you can pretty much guarantee a 0 cycle on any end if you relog. So if you're kind of low on health a little bit, if you already took some damage, you can save and quit a pearl for invincibility, but the dragon will reset. And this re-rolls where it goes every time. So it's by coincidence it went to front 7-8. It could have went 1-8, could have went back 1-8, back 7-8. So you kind of have to be ready for that. But it also means you can probably do another pearl fast enough in that invincibility. And basically when you're just doing 0. It also just means that you can probably go higher. For each relog, oops, I fucked up. I mean, just relog, and then you can probably just go higher, actually. Oh, see? It went 1-8. So, you can just do this. If you really want to guarantee a finish, you can. Ideally, throughout, like, the post-bind, you kind of want to be duping your glass and maybe any other resources that you want. For example, like gold picks or otherwise. Just so that you can get to the portal room and hopefully have enough to craft it in an Nether crystal. So you want to be holding your end crystal before you enter. I would not recommend dropping into the lava and crafting there. That is pretty hard to time. Once you enter the end, you have 20 ticks, 1 full second to place down an end crystal. That's not a lot of time. If you have something else and you enter, you have to both flick on the obsidian and also hotkey to the end crystal at the same time. Which, unless if you're pretty mechanically skilled, that might be really hard to do. So it's just best to hold the crystal, or maybe even offhanded too. You could also do that. And once we enter, pause. Some ticks already just went by. You can pause abuse, try to flick down towards the obsidian, and right click whenever you can. Spam right click, and once you hold a crystal down, that's it. You just want to beeline towards the end fountain. And cool, you know how to play glitch now. Yo, as an outro, I guess. I hope this is a good glitch guide, or guide in general. It's like my first time doing something like this. I talked about pretty much everything that I want to talk about, and if you need any further elaborations or specific questions, then you can probably DM me or leave a comment below. I'll try to check every day. Next, I want to do a random seed internal guide, which is just random seed, but without leaving the world. It's a very fun and interesting glitch category that I think everyone will enjoy. And with that, I mean, play glitched. Have fun.